The greatest reward is that which demands the most dedication, patience, and persistence. That is the definition of the law of patience and reward. Welcome to episode 6 of the Law of Attraction I Wish I Knew Sooner, right here on the Basic Butch Tarot channel. Today's 3-card read is all about the law of patience and reward, and we're going to talk about our roles, our current roles in our own karmic journey, meaning what we're doing here is we're trying to blaze a trail of karma that the next time this aspect comes back to hit us with the karma that we're putting out, that is going to be good karma because we've shed all of the bad things and we've acted in accordance with the karma that we want to receive. So that's what we're going to talk about today, the law of patience and reward, 3-card tarot card reading. Welcome back to the Basic Butch Tarot. My name is Jennifer Rose and I am the head butch in charge here. Thank you so much for tuning in to the channel today. The law of patience and reward. So I have a little bit of guidance to go over with you before we start the actual read. So the first bit of guidance I want to share about the law of patience and reward is that all rewards require initial toil. So, you know, when you have a good idea and all of a sudden you're like Googling everything and you're trying to figure out how much you should charge or, you know, like how to get started, and you just toil away at it, right? You just like relentlessly look and look and look. You ask questions of your biggest supporters to see what they think of it. You know, you get out on your social media and grab some friends and say like, hey, what do you think about it, right? And you just toil, work, maybe stay up a little bit late, but the toil, right? That's the beginning. And then, you know, the next bit of guidance is reward of lasting value require patience and persistent toil. So see what they did there? So they're adding, you know, that you've got to be patient and persistently toil. So initially we're just supposed to toil. We're just supposed to work, you know, for rewards. But then we have to tack on, you know, that we've got to be patient and persistent in our toiling in order to get these greater rewards, right? And, you know, I'm talking about manifestations here too, you know, the greatest reward, whatever your eye is on the prize. And the prize, you know, and then the last bit of guidance I wanted to share with you is true joy comes from doing what one is supposed to be doing and knowing that the reward will come in its own time. So, you know, sometimes actors, you'll hear actors and actresses or will say, you know, they waited tables for 60 or 80 hours a week because they were, you know, like just doing free theater work to try to, you know, get to that big reward, you know, to get an acting gig, a big one, you know, something that pays, something you can live off of, somewhat, you know, some way to get recognition, right? So, you know, doing what you're supposed to be doing is really like that acting job, right? And then just kind of, you know, toiling away at whatever helps you in that capacity is some good guidance, I think, to take about the law of patience and reward. So the card reading that we're going to do today is a 3-card reading. And the first card I'm going to draw is going to tell us how we remain dedicated to our biggest rewards or our manifestations. How do we remain dedicated to this, okay? All right. We remain dedicated by trusting our intuition and by, you know, understanding our own personal inner workings, you know, like knowing our own boundaries and knowing who we really are inside. You know, like that is, you know, how we remain dedicated to our reward is just being true to ourselves and, you know, taking the time to, I just can't help but see the blossom there. It's just bloom, right? And the white light there right on top of the high priestess's head. So, you know, like taking that energy, and, just dedicating yourself to your highest reward, to your manifestation, if that's the toiling part. So, maintaining your true self through the whole thing and being true to what you feel spiritually, like what you feel overall, but who you are on the inside, like being true to that. That's how you remain dedicated to your greatest rewards, because, we will never work a day in our lives if we're able to support ourselves doing the thing that we love, right? So for me, that would be the greatest reward, is to be able to, support myself doing something that I really love doing. And that doesn't break my back. So, how do we stay patient through it all? How do we stay patient through our toiling and our work, in order to get our greatest reward? How do we stay patient? Ooh, well, how do we stay patient when we're, super anxious and up all night? I guess staying patient would be, don't do this. I'm going to turn this on this head and say, don't stay up all night and don't worry about it. As far as that's concerned, so maybe we're a little bit worried about patience. I get the feeling that someone out there watching is like, oh yeah, patience is not my strong suit. And that's where you fall off when you're, trying to achieve your dreams. You're trying to, toil away for that manifestation. Maybe it is that you are not a patient person and you get anxious about your impatience too. So even if you're not being impatient at the time, you get anxious about it. So how do we get anxious about patience? Like, how do we get anxious about our own impatience? Let's see. So we just have to kind of deal with it, and we just have to put that forward. We just have to know that about ourselves. Like, we just have to say, okay, so I'm an impatient person. And, I know a lot of people will count. I count in my head if I'm impatient. I'll tap, which is, not considered very polite by a lot of people, but I will tap, like I'll put my fingers in my pockets and I'll tap on my leg or something, or I'll act like I'm singing a song. Sometimes I'll sing a song. So, if we just put it out there and that we understand that that's something about ourselves that we don't like, that is a challenge for ourselves, just know that if we can rein that in, if we can just know that about ourselves and not let it bother us. So when our impatience crops up, we know it's there and be like, oh yes, hello impatience, my old friend, and just deal with it in the best way that you possibly can. Okay. So that will help you achieve your greatest reward, because sometimes those things can really cock block a manifestation too. And, I'm not saying that everybody can be perfect at patience. I think it's really just about practicing patience. So I'll give you a tip on how I learned how to practice patience. So I had a therapist tell me once to use my microwave. So to put 30 seconds on the timer, and, especially something that smells really good, even in 30 seconds. So I do that, and I could not open the door to the microwave until it beeped, until it was time. So I found myself, and I still find myself like dancing, like counting down, like 6, 7, 5, 4, like whatever it is that keeps me, even though I'm standing there, I keep my arms down, and I'm very careful about how I'm breathing, so I'm not, too uppity, and I just dance it away, and just remind myself, like, hey, just take a minute. It just takes a few seconds, right? So, patience, Don't be afraid of it, though. You will surprise yourself at how patient you can be, especially when you're able to open yourself up and see the reward for what it is. Like, use your intuition and trust your gut. And if you're doing that toiling, and, with every single step you take, you will see success, and you will see, a little bit more of the information shine to you as to what you're supposed to be doing. Follow that. Follow that. All right. Okay, so how do we persist? How do we remain persistent in chasing after our rewards and goals? Because sometimes it can take a long time to see a reward of, waiting tables for X amount of days a week, for X amount of hours, for X amount of years while doing what it is that you love to do on the side, right? So how do we remain persistent in that when our body's hurt, when our mind's tired, when it's all monotonous and we no longer get any happiness out of working and toiling toward our goals? How do we remain persistent anyway? Well, we just have to remember the information that we've been given, okay? This is a great forward motion card, you have all the information, you know what you need to do, and you just need to trust that. And with that information, see, I knew it. More information, and you know how to handle that information, you know how to put that information out there. So, how do you remain persistent is just by continuing to tell yourself, remind yourself of the process, remind yourself, not often, because manifestations don't really require you to just toil about it every single day, a manifestation, but, just remind yourself of all the stuff that you already have going forward for you now. And remind yourself of all the synchronicities you've seen and what you've done that's kept you hanging on for so long, right? All the information and everything. Maybe someone's told you yeah, you're really good at this, keep it up, keep it up, kid, is what I hear in my head. Just keep it up. That is a keep it up card. One more. Where are we going though? So you've got some plans, you've got a big future ahead of you. The world is your oyster. You are looking forward and you have it all together. So your persistence is going to pay off. You just keep going forward, follow the plan, okay? Follow the plan, follow the plan, follow the plan. The plan has all of the information that you need in order to, karmically help yourself in this patience and reward. So, I think this is a great read about patience and reward. Remember, dedication, patience, and persistence. But we also have to take care of ourselves, make sure that we nourish our spirit, our body, and our minds. So don't overdo it, okay? The toiling is great, but we also need to have a little bit of energy, just to do the thing that we love, right? So there's going to be a good balance in there for you. And, I think your karma is just looking toward the future. You've got some great plans and you have all the information that you need to achieve it. So that's awesome. Happy reward to you. They're coming, folks.